morning, everybody, and welcome to the April 1st edition of the Dawn Patrol. And it's raining out there. It's windy now, and it feels a little bit like Halloween out there with the wind. With me this morning is my usual co-host, Bob Hoey, candidate for citywide school committee man, and soon to be re-elected Selectman out in Tewksbury, Mark Kratman, my fellow board member in the LRTA. Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Good morning.
Bob, you want to kick us off? You got anything?
No, we might as well just start with Mark right off the bat. It's an election year. How many more days you got would be one thing I'd want to know. How many people are in the race, how many seats are open, all that kind of stuff, Mark. So why don't you just start by just telling us when it's happening and where you are standing right now. You're still working hard or what?
Honestly, nothing changes for me. That's the lovely thing about my life. I don't change anything on campaign year. I do the same thing year after year after year after year. So I don't really have to change my philosophy or the way I do things. I'm at everything every year. So if you do it every year, you don't have to do anything different on election year.
Yeah.
So the election's on this Saturday. So it'll be interesting. We get 4 candidates. So we'll see what happens. The residents get to go out and vote, and we'll see what happens on Saturday night.
Now, Rich Russo, who was here last week, is on the school committee.
Yes, is this mic on, by the way? I just want to make sure. Okay.
And you have what is the other, was there a gentleman from the planning board running? Is that it? Who else?
No.
Are they on the committees?
Rich is a great guy.
He's on the school committee, right?
He's on the school, not only is he on the school committee, he's been doing a lot for the community. He's like one of those guys who's been invested in being part of the community for years. He's a
mini Mark?
He's like, you know what, we need, I called all the candidates, I spoke to at least all the candidates and said, I'm so happy that they're running. You need people to step up and make it interesting. Nobody wants an uncontested race. You want to hear different ideas. You want to see some young people stepping up and doing things. But Rich has been on, he's been on Tewksbury Youth Football. He runs all the programs for the kids. He's been doing that for a long time. He's on the school committee. He's been on economic development. He's been on finance committee. I'm sorry, I don't think he was on economic. I think he's been on the finance committee. He's been on different committees and boards in the community. But he knows, he talks to residents. He's out all the time. He talks to the parents. He talks to the grandparents. He talks to the kids. He knows what's going on in the community, and he's done his time. He's like he's worked his way up. He's been on the school committee. I mean, the biggest part of the budget of the town is the schools, so he understands that part. So I think that's very helpful for somebody that's running.
And the other 2 candidates?
Are they
on the boards or anything?
Lindsay, I think what happened is that she lived in town. And she moved out of town for a while, and then she just came back. Okay. So I think she's only been back for like a couple of years.
Okay. She's coming tomorrow, I think.
What's that?
She's coming tomorrow.
Was she? Very lovely young lady. So I talked to her, but her and her husband moved back to town, and she's been on different. I don't think she's been on any committees or things like that. But she wants to get involved, and that's great. I love that. And the other young gentleman, last year he signed up for the housing committee. He's done a term on that. And
Housing Authority?
Housing Authority,
okay.
Yeah. Cool. He didn't finish his term. He just resigned so he can focus on this.
Oh, wow.
But he's like I said, he's being active, trying to be part of the community, and he's looking to take part as well. So.
Mark, what you said that I picked up on right away is you like to see more people come out so it's competitive. In Lowell, we picked up Danielle McFadden in the citywide school race, and no one would run against the two incumbents last time, and it's not good. When Danielle came out, I couldn't believe it. It just blew my mind because I didn't think anybody was coming out for the schools again. Because I always thought Lowell, and I still feel there's a group that's working toward being able to appoint the school committee. We got to be careful of that. I think an elected one is the best.
There's always somebody behind the curtain in any town, city or town.
Drake's been,
everybody wants to be the kingmakers, and I always find that hilarious. And
some people in Drake have advocated an appointed school committee. It's crazy, yeah.
There's people that love to do that, and think that they have the control, and really what it comes down to, the residents are gonna vote. And it's like, maybe you have some leverage with friends and talking to people and doing that, but really, the residents are gonna vote what's best for them. I've always found that residents are gonna vote what's gonna work for their wallets and their pocketbooks, it's just, who's gonna help us the most, who's gonna, be vested in the town, and who's gonna show up day after day to do the job. And I think that's what they see, and they come out to vote, and, it's, you can, try to sell them anything you want, but, they see through the lines, and they know what happens, I believe.
A little segue in a trade here. Do you have a trash fee out there?
What's that?
Do you have a trash fee?
There's not, well, I mean, there's not a separate fee.
No,
It's all
that's a
done,
trash fee.
No,
That's-
no.
Okay,
there's
we
not.
just, Drake had voted one last, the selectman voted it last Tuesday night to institute a trash fee. I haven't got the figures in front of me, but, I mean, the town manager explained that it's either do this or we're gonna be really in trouble. From what I'm understanding, it's only gonna be a fix for 1 year, and it's still, nothing's gonna really get better as far as money-wise, So, from every resident I've spoken to, they're not happy with it, It's just like another tax. And I know, and I understand, I'm from working for the town, I know what they're saying. When they, it's good for people to get some money, for the town to get some revenue in. But I just don't, they wanted to, one of the selectmen, George Taylor, wanted to bring it to town meeting. And I guess they couldn't. I guess for some reason they couldn't bring it to town meeting. So because if it had gone to town meeting, it would have been defeated. People never would vote for a trash fee in the community. But I forget what the figures are per year per person. And it's I think it's basically the same fee for everybody, because I know in some towns, I think Bobby Lowell, you have a fee for elderly and fee for like pay as you throw type thing. In other words, if
No, we
you're-
have a trash fee, Lowell.
yeah, but is it everybody pays the same fee?
If you're an old buckaroo,
Yeah.
you can get a reduced rate, but they give you a smaller barrel.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
We pay through our taxes, and there's other fees that go involved, like if you have to remove larger items, like, I don't think they even take a lot of the different things. It's like trying to get rid of
It's a fee,
mattresses
yep.
are getting more and more difficult
Yep.
because of what they do with those.
Yep.
But if you have to pick up, like you can go down to town hall and you get stickers if
Yep.
you're getting rid of additional stuff, and you have to pay a fee for that.
Sure. Sure.
God bless you, young man.
My wife usually takes care of the taxes, but she complains to me about how it's not even worth working. When I listen to her, I'm retired, I get a pension, stuff like that, but the more you work, the more they take. I think it's going to come down to a lot of people with taxes are going to bother a lot of people in this election. I know I don't mind paying an excise tax bill. I really don't. There's 4 that I pay under the roof of my house, and that don't bother me. We wear and tear these streets to death. I do a lot of driving and all, so.
It's not just taxes. It's just the
Yeah.
cost of
Things-
living.
everything.
It's everything.
Everything.
It's
Yeah,
just
it
like,
is. It is,
I don't think there's anyone in my town that talks to more people than I do. I go out and I'm at like a different events. I'm either down the senior center talking with the seniors, I'm talking with the kids, I'm talking with people. It's like right now I'm trying to get ready for the Memorial Day parade, so I'm talking to all the different groups, trying to line them up. It's that time of year. And so I'm talking with the Boy Scouts, the softball teams, the baseball teams, the hockey, the coach, the people that organize all the events, and talking to them all. And, and it's just, the price of groceries have gone through the roof. Cost of everything has just gone up. I mean, gas is high, it's just, everything's high, and, the cost of living has been, you don't see that much come back in your check that much.
No.
And, so you got to find ways to make things work. I mean, like we get some serious issues in our town where, it's, everyone jokes, it's like, my friend who's going to be hosting tomorrow's show loves to call Tewksbury Oz because we have, everything's working well. I mean, and nothing happened by accident. It's like you have to give the credit to the residents and the business owners in our community. The residents work hard, they show up to town meeting, they get involved, and they make sure that they have the community that they want. They focus on if there's something that's coming before the planning board, something comes up in before us, or something that's going on, they get involved, they pay attention, and they see what they want in our community. Like, when I'm talking to people, nobody wants our town to turn into a city. And a lot of people want to develop, and there's a cost associated with that. We get very high water and sewer rates, but on the other hand, at least, we have our whole town sewered. So we made that investment, and where a lot of communities around us don't have that, it's beneficial to us, but it came with a cost. And when we put it in, it was like during a difficult financial time, and some of the payments were offset and put off to, some of the interest payments and other things were put off to a further date, and then those bills came forward, and that's where we are. But we have a failing water system in our town.
That's the difference, just so you know. I live in a city.
Yeah.
And I know the people that I talk to, and there's quite a bit of them, they don't want to see the city council going up on their taxes, property taxes again. They don't want to see it.
Well,
That's what I'm hearing.
People don't want that, and that's
City
why.
council doesn't care.
No, I
They
know
couldn't
that. I'm
care
just
less.
telling you
We're
what I
going into
hear.
your pockets, baby.
Well-
We have to pay our city manager $1,000 a day.
We got budget hearings coming up. That's going to be a beautiful thing to watch. And Lowell it is anyways. We have a lot of big issues, Mark, like Belvedere, District 3. You got 4 candidates coming out. They're going to show the rest of the city, my district is, how to vote, how to come out and vote. Watch what happens. Belvedere will pick the 3 people for citywide candidate. They'll pick it, not the rest of the city. You know why? The rest is don't vote. It's as simple as that.
when I look at different things, it's like, you may want to go up on this tax. A tax is a tax. You're going to get it one way or another. Either they're going to hit you on the sales tax, food meal taxes, taxes on your home, the value of your property, taxes on water and sewer bills. It's one way or another, they have to get their dollar to make sure that, infrastructure and everything gets done. And, that's one of the things that's like so frustrating with me with some of these state mandates that are going forward. It just, we pay our taxes, we pay more than our fair share, and we send it up to the Commonwealth. And, so then they make mandates saying that we have to abide by some of their rules and regulations or our tax dollars won't come back. And I thought the job of government was to govern, not to dictate. That if you don't listen to the king or queen, that the money doesn't come back. It's like we give our money, we pay our taxes, and they're supposed to send that money back to our community to provide services.
But and you're right. But
Mark,
see,
you make a good point, but I would put something on top of what you just said. Government is all about self-preservation. First thing government says, we have to survive no matter what happens. That's how every government is set up.
Well, you're not going to survive if you don't listen to the people, because it's just, you have to run for re-election either every 2 or 4 years, and, you get elected, I don't care what position you're in.
Yeah.
The residents send you there to do a job, and your job is to be a representative of the voice of the people. And I find that, I find it amazing that people go up and then they go to the State House, and then all of a sudden they become more intelligent than anybody on the face of the planet. That, even though the voice of the residents say, we want this, they don't listen.
Well, they have courses down there how to double talk to people.
Like I said,
They do.
I've never understood it.
Texas
It's just like-
sidestep. Have you ever seen an elected state official that's they're not in such, they have no time for you, or a TV camera or radio microphone? They have no time for that.
That's not.
We're busy.
I know many representatives that do a fine job. Just Colleen Gary comes on here, she listens to everybody. So, there's somebody that will take a phone call if you call that, or you make a phone call, and there's many other
Ratty
people.
Mom just got ousted because he would never come to the table to talk to anybody.
No, a lot of them, I've made phone calls to, they'll pick up the phone. A lot of other ones, I'll make a phone call and you get the answering machine or you get an aide and say, I'll get back to you, and I don't know when that get back to you is, but sometimes it takes a long time.
just stick it in Colleen.
Oh, I love it when
Colleen.
they say, I owe you a call.
Yeah.
I owe you a call. I owe you a phone call.
No, in Lowell, the only one that I see working at all is Rodney. So He's the only one, and Ed Kennedy is a senator. We're
Well,
lucky to have him there.
Colleen is the only one I feel that doesn't always vote for leadership. And this kid already, the one that replaced Mom, is already writing leaderships if you look at the votes.
Yeah.
They have, and so is Kennedy, and so is Elliott. Colleen seems to be the most independent. I don't know about you. What's your guy, Robinson? Is that his name?
I've got a whole
Is he
group of them now.
Oh, that's
because
what you got like-
they
It's
redistrict,
like
so
chumps.
now I have 3 state reps
It's
and
like
1
chumps.
senator.
Yeah.
So,
But going back to what you're saying, as far as the trash fee, and there's 2 selectmen up for reelection this year in Drake. Both will win reelection, there's no doubt in my mind, but I think they're going to lose some votes over this trash fee because the average person does not want another fee. And then one guy said to me, "What's next? Are they going to charge me to plow my street?" And you laugh, but what the heck? Who knows down the road what they're going to say? You know, and as far as these,
see, I think our biggest vote out there is listening to the developers. So we have this MBTA communities thing coming through,
Oh.
and we have a couple of other developments that are coming forward, and the residents are just, this is what I've been touting, is that, residents come to town meeting, they tell everybody what they want, they vote on what they want, and
Yep.
then, they vote and no one listens to them. It's just like at least at the State House, we listen to them, but,
Yep.
it's like they went when they, the state mandated this MBTA communities
Yep.
act. And, according to them, we're supposed to build 1,214 or 18 units or whatever it is on a site. And they give you the line, you don't have to build it, you just have to zone it. And I laugh at that. Like I said, if you zone something by right, they're going to find a way to build it. There's too much money in development. A developer's going to find a way to build them, especially if you give them by right that this area is zoned. And, and we don't have the infrastructure to deal with the traffic as it is. So when they put this, the frustrating part is, they get it together at the State House, they vote this in, none of them came to the communities before the vote that I know of and said, hey, listen, we're going to change the fabric of your community by making this vote that you have to zone to put this much housing in an area in your community. This is going to affect your schools, your police, your fire, your infrastructure, your day-to-day life. And nobody comes forward and said, they vote for it and then they tell you about it afterwards. Oh, we voted this in. We had meetings up the State House. Well, it's like, how about notifying your constituents or at least coming and talking to your constituents? Do you think this is a good idea? You're supposed to represent the residents. And so come listen, have public meetings in each city and town you represent, listen to what they believe, and then go up and vote and do your job. Listen to what your constituents, you're a representative. You represent your constituents. Listen to what they tell you. And the frustrating part is, at least in my town, over the last 10, 15 years, we've had tons of building.
Yeah.
And none of that was taken into consideration. And that's the thing that drives me crazy. It's like if you took in like all the housing that we've built, all the investment we've made, it's like we built a new elementary school, we built a new fire station, we built a new police station, we built a new high school. We're in the process of building a new DPW. We've worked with developers to zone certain areas to develop. We went and we changed our zoning at town meeting. We've had all kinds of things to try to work to make things work so that, yes, we need tax dollars coming in. Yes, it would be, we all know that there's a need for more affordable housing. But some of this thing that they're touting doesn't even have an affordable item to it.
Yep.
And so when they're coming forward and they start talking about you must do this, they don't know anything about the town. No one's come to that town and understands it better than the residents.
Yep.
And what goes through. And I've been in the section where they're talking about zoning this. I've been up there standing on weekends and watching vehicles try to get through the light. You'll get 3, 4, maybe 5 vehicles through a light right now through an intersection, and it's jammed on weekends. And now you're talking about zoning 1,200. So if you zone it and somebody comes and builds it, it's not just like 1-bedroom apartments. It's multifamily housing. So you got to figure you're going to have at least 2 vehicles per housing. So if you got 1,200, it's 2,400 vehicles. And then they tout it because it's near an MBTA line. Does someone actually believe that like me and you are on the LRTA. Can we handle 2,400 people going on our buses, going to the train station every morning? And not only that, it's like, we're in Tewksbury, Wilmington is in the same boat. They have to build 1,200, and they're gonna put theirs near, their zoning right near their train station. So within a half mile of this area, you're gonna have Tewksbury with 1,200 and Wilmington with 1,200, so you have 2,400 units, 4,800 vehicles, no money coming from the state to build infrastructure, to widen the roadways, to do anything on it, and then they tell you, well, the residents don't have to pay for it. But the developers will limit what they have to pay for it, and there's no money in the state that's coming forward to come back to you to do it. And even if there was, out of 170-something communities, where is Tewksbury and Wilmington gonna be on that list to get money? You know, we'll be 150, 160, 100, who knows where,
Well,
but it's gonna
let's
go to
say
larger cities and towns.
alphabetically.
We're not gonna be at the top of any list to
Right,
get any
right.
money from the state.
You know, if you lived in Lowell, right, what residents should do is stay in your home from 2:30 PM to 6:30 PM. Just stay in there, because everybody else is cutting through here, going to New Hampshire or somewhere else, and our streets are bad between 2:30 and 5,
Yeah,
real
it's-
bad. You
there-
don't
There
move
should have
in
been a
Lowell.
comprehensive plan. If you really want, for one thing, you should not have selected just so many cities and towns because they're near a rail or train station. Because for one thing, the rail or train, I mean, they can't handle the riders now. You know, there's not been any real major investment in transportation. And where is the open land, and where is it more affordable to live? Near the city or out in the western part of the state? It's so much more affordable once you leave and you get away from the city. The problem is, there's no way to get there. So if you really wanted to add additional housing in the Commonwealth, what you should have done is made an investment in transportation improvements prior to doing so. So that this way, when you're going out to another area where you can build a house for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 and get a parcel of land, and then be able to get into the city or get some, you should have made an investment in transportation. There should have been a comprehensive plan. You should have listened to your constituents saying, we can't handle this traffic. And nobody's coming, like, if you ask a question, it's like, okay, if we zone this and the developer builds it, is somebody gonna come forward and give money to these 177 communities to do some improvements? And the answer's gonna be, no, we don't have the money. So where's it gonna come from? It always comes back to the taxpayers.
Exactly, exactly. And that's-
Property taxes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, you know, we're not gonna tax this, and we're not gonna do that. And it said, we got failing water problems that we have. We're trying to replace our water lines. You know, a couple of years ago, we were only spending a little under $2 million to do it because of where we were and, you know, all the other debt that we had. Now we're spending $5 million, a little bit over $5.5 million to replace water lines in our community. It's still not enough, and we're still making that investment, but the taxpayers are paying for that. Well, now, like, every time we try to fix a problem, there's another one that's thrown on our lap. It's like, you know, we're trying to deal with what we have now, and then we're being told by outside sources that we have to take more and more and more. It's like, we just built a new elementary school that cost $100 million. The state gave us back 34 million, but the taxpayers paid $65 million toward that. And it's a beautiful school that we made the investment in. But now all of a sudden, if you have all these developments that are going up, you know, that everybody wants to put in, well, you know, is that going to be able to handle all the students? Like, you have no idea. And so your taxes go up by, you know, the investment you make in your community. And when you try to make your community a better place, and somebody tells you you have to change it, without not knowing, you know, all the investment that you've already made, it's infuriating.
You know, I think Tewksbury, what I see in Tewksbury is a lot of people that have moved in without children. And I think it showed in your numbers in the schools. There was even talks a while ago, a couple of years maybe.
There was a comprehensive plan when some of this development was going in, that like some of the building that was built, like they zoned the areas and there was 1 and 2 bedrooms built. And because we wanted to get some, you know, young people moving to the community, and all of a sudden you see, like, you know, we have businesses that were if you went back 10, 15 years ago, you went to the plazas, a lot of the plazas were empty, you saw a lot of empty storefronts, we still have a lot of them, but that's another reason behind it. But like, we had the plaza up by where the John Ryan's Plaza is. If you went back, 10, 15 years ago, there was only a couple of stores in there. And so then all of a sudden, we built some housing. We built 1 and 2 bedroom apartments in a lot of the places. We got some young, people that come to the community, and they have, expendable funds where they're young and they're going home, and instead of going home and making dinner, they're going out to the restaurants. And so we have fabulous restaurants in our community, and if you go there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're waiting in line to get into the place, because we have people that are spending money. And so all of a sudden, all those storefronts in the plaza is filled. And so you see other people coming there.
Hey,
And
Tony,
so-
you want to read this one?
When an administration pushes green energy, when everyone knows that a gas tax was for the roads, people expect.
I think what he was trying to say, whoever that was,
Yeah.
is that the gas tax is paying for the roads, and if
Sure.
you're pushing everything on green energy, you're not
Sure.
getting the gas tax, but,
And you say about your restaurant, so that's one of the complaints about Lowell, I think. You hear it so many times, that on Sundays especially, you can't get this. I think there's 2 restaurants in downtown Lowell that are open on Sundays. Now that the Olympia is gone, the Athenian Corner's not open. I don't think Cobblestones is open like for a brunch type thing, but a lot of people, that's why they're going to Tewksbury. Drake it. You all the knowledge, you can't move there on a Sunday, or people are always in there. Even the other smart, like the Sports Zone, all the places out in Drake, I'm sure Chumps was the same way. I know people have said that before. Why doesn't Lowell open their restaurants on Sunday? What's the
you gotta get workers, but it's like it costs more, and, it's trying to find the
you can't
right
get the help.
niche, or like that. Like, I've worked in the restaurant business. I used to run Kelly's for
Yeah.
down 27 years, so I got a little bit of experience doing that. And it's location, it's getting the right people, getting a quality service. You got to get the people that are going to
Tom, we got to get rid of the tattoo of downtown Low with the homeless lying in the sidewalk. That's the tattoo that's stuck in people's heads.
Yeah.
Because Golden just let it happen, let it grow, let it get worse, and the city manager just let the whole downtown go to rot. And, we can't, and found out that, thank God, the federal court said, yeah, you can't kick them off the street. And so that tattoo people have in their mind, that's why they're not going to breakfast in downtown Lowell.
You got to work together on all these different things, because you have to listen to the residents, you have to listen to the business owners, you have to, you should have a comprehensive plan of talking to everybody, making sure that everybody's voice is heard at the table, and then working together to make it happen. I learned that when I was, I'm involved with a lot of things with the community and the residents, but then I also got involved, and I was on economic development. I was chair of the economic development for years. Then we merged with Wilmington, and we have the Wilmington Tewksbury Chamber of Commerce, which I've been the president for. I'm going to be for the next for 6 years. I've been the president. I just got reelected last week for another 2 years. And so I go out and I talk with the business owners. And that's the thing that, we hired John Curran as our town manager, and John's met him, and he's always had something nice to say to him. But one thing that when we hired a town manager, everyone's like, what is your qualifications you're looking for most in a town manager? And I said very clearly, I want somebody who listens to the residents. I don't care what the state, the feds, everybody else tells you we must do, we have to do. I want somebody that listens to the restaurant, to the residents, who is business friendly, helps us promote local, small-time businesses in our community. And so he's come out with me, he's gone around, he's talked with the local businesses, and he's got an open door policy. If you're a resident and you got a question, you can come and talk to our town manager. If you're a business owner, you're frustrated with something, or something's not working, you call, you talk to our town manager, he'll have a meeting with you. And then, that's what we do. And I just wanted to make that very clear, that, we have an open door policy. We promote local businesses, and if you get businesses paying in that helps the residents because they pay a higher tax. The commercial businesses pay a higher tax, and it just helps lower, taxes for the residents.
Well, Mark, recently you had a annual meeting
Yep.
out in for the Wilmington Tewksbury Chamber. Is it the Chamber of Commerce? Or-
Yep, Chamber of Commerce, yep.
And so I went to that meeting. I saw John Curran. I had never met the guy before. So the meeting's over. Walk over, shake the guy's hand, and say, welcome to the town. I hope everything goes well. And he hands me his card. And he says, if I can help you, he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. And I didn't expect him to. If I can help you with anything, please call me. I never had a town manager or city manager ever do that in public. I think I got a winner there.
Well, that's exactly why we hired him. I mean, we interviewed a bunch of people. I've been doing this. I'm making myself sound really old, but I've been doing this a long time.
This is your third term if you're reelected, or fourth term?
This will be my fourth term.
If you get reelected?
Yeah, on it. I served 2 terms. I lost once.
Oh, and then you won again.
And then
Okay.
I won again.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I always take pride in, is that sometimes people run, and after they run, you never hear of them again.
Oh, right. right.
They disappear.
Oh, you see them in 3 years.
No, you don't even see them. It's like they never even lived in the town. Sometimes they disappear. It's like they give David Copperfield a run for his money.
And do you find, because I see it in Drake, do you find if, like, you were promoting earlier about how these new candidates, let them run, but sometimes, I've seen it in Drake, a new candidate comes in that wants to run, and they might want to shake the trees a little bit. That new candidate's almost like a cancer, because they don't want to see the trees shaken up, meaning the regular townies. Do you ever see that in Tewksbury?
We don't have that. It's
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times. We
and
had a girl in for school committee about 2 or 3 years ago, and she was dynamite, I thought, but she was going to shake the trees.
Well, I mean, like, once again, you have to go out and meet the residents and talk to them. And it's like you said, and I take pride in, I don't think anybody talks to more people than I do. I'm involved in, in the last 20 years, I've been involved in almost everything possible you can be in the town. And so I listen to so many different voices, between doing the Patriotic Committee, the 9/11 Committee, the President of the Chamber of Commerce, the Council on Aging, Friends of the Elderly, Economic Development, LRTA Board with Transportation. It's just, like, I'm on so many different boards and committees and listening to them. Remember the Elks, the
You're
Knights,
talking
the
to Tom
Lions.
Bomil. He's on a few boards himself.
Yeah, no, but that's how, like some people, will avoid talking to people, in any way, shape, or form. I'm the opposite. I was just like, I'll be out at a coffee shop and I'll be sitting there. When I go to the grocery store, I always joke that I have to go to the frozen aisle last. Because if you go there, by the time you get out of the store, everything's going to be melted when I'm talking with everybody in the store. But that's what the job is about, is, listening to residents and doing what they send you there to do. Listening to them and actually following through, taking their trust they put in you to vote in their best interest. And
well, John,
that's the job.
I agree, and sort of, I think, but if there were a bunch of residents at the Selectmen's meeting last Tuesday night, and the majority of them said, don't put this trash fee in, they still would have voted for the trash fee.
Well, then that's a problem.
And I want to go back to what John said.
I say, find another solution.
I just want to go back to what John said about Golden and the homeless people, and he's probably right, but John, a majority of the council has not said, they have not said, Tom, what are you doing here? What are you doing with the homeless? 11 of the councils, or I would say 10 of the councils really aren't pushing him on that issue.
I would say like 2 or 3.
Tommy, the councilors are not stupid people.
They're up for re-election.
They're not
They're up
stupid
for
people,
re-election.
and now they know, we're up for re-election. We better do something about this. And they don't like it when you point the finger at them and say, you ruined downtown. You ruined my neighborhood. Your manager herded the homeless, told his police chief to tell the police, herd them to the South Common. So they moved to South Common, lying on the street in downtown Lowell. St. Joseph's the Worker Shrine, you can't even go into church, lying on the streets there. Nothing we can do. Then a federal law gets changed, and it took 90 days for you to do anything about it. So, and now you go, Tom, we love you, Tom. We're gonna give we'll give you a contract for 65 years. And we're gonna pay you $1,000 a day until you're dead, yes. And even after you're dead, we'll still send her a check. It's terrible. Lowell has a shitty manager.
I thought you were going to
I'm
stop
not-
using that term. I thought you said you were going to stop using that term.
That was his new nickname.
But that was for when?
His new
No,
nickname.
me and you agree on a lot of
Greedy
different things.
Golden.
That I'll politely
But-
disagree with you. I
But
think
John, again,
Tom
the
Golden's
council,
a
I
great
think the
name.
council,
You've known
One
Greedy
at a
Gold.
time,
You've
one at a
known
time.
Greedy Golden a long time.
Yeah.
What did he do down the State House?
What's that?
What did he do at the State House?
I talked to Tom Golden so
I
many times
understand.
at the
Anybody
state
can
house.
talk to
No,
him,
but
what did he do as a-
I would get constituent calls from him all the time. He's talking about infrastructure, talking about construction, he would be one of the most active people up there. And he'd always be calling for the constituents of his community.
What did he do as a state rep for the community?
He brought funds back to that's the number
Not
one
any-
thing that you're
not
supposed to
anymore.
do.
Not
You're
any more
supposed
than
to
the other
lobby
state
to
reps.
bring money back to your community.
New
That's
courthouse.
That's
New
what I'm
courthouse.
fighting on. I can't get money to come back. Like, every couple of years, I get my reps and senators come in front of us and what bill would you like us to file? What would you like us to do? And I'm like, I want sidewalks in my community. I want, widenings. I want infrastructure. I want different things that are happening in my town. And do I have sidewalks from city line to town line on Route 38? No. But I'll tell you one thing, I've seen how many ribbon cuttings in the city of Lowell with bridges and infrastructure and things that have been spent. You get a lot of money that's spent
Well,
on this
in
thing,
the
and you
in
gotta
the
have
land of
somebody up there
Oz-
that lobbies to get those funds.
In the
I
la-
think, I take Tommy Golden as my rep any day of the week.
Good luck to you.
Compared to what we got, for
Tewksbury-
sure.
We have sidewalks on 38 now.
What's that?
We have sidewalks on 38. In Tewksbury.
But
Up by
when
me,
you get
anyway.
down by the power lines, you see any sidewalks down there? I see kids riding their bikes in the middle of the
I
street.
don't walk that far.
He's talking
Yeah, no, I
38
know, but-
He's talking 38 in Lowell.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about 38 in Tewksbury, where here I think he was talking. I see kids, the most frustrating thing that I see each and every year is that all of a sudden we see people in wheelchairs going up and down the roadways, and I see them riding in the streets there isn't a lot of street lights up there, and there's no sidewalks, and they're riding down the street, and the kids are on bicycles, people are in wheelchairs, trying to get up and down our main roadway, and there's no sidewalks for them to get up and down the roadway, and they're riding in the street, and we've had people get hit, we've had fatalities, and I ask every year, I want sidewalks in our community, especially on our main roadway, and it hasn't come to fruition yet, and I've been doing it for 10 years asking for it.
What can you do on 38?
What's that?
You don't know, Tewksbury doesn't own Route 38.
No, but that's what we have. You just said, what did somebody do up at the State House? Our delegation lobbies to bring funds back to you get TIP projects, your delegation fights to get additional funds. They can file bills, they can say, we want this intersection done over, and they can file bills to ask for additional money for your communities. And that's one of the jobs of your
The
legislators.
town of Tewksbury not only plows my sidewalk, they pick up my trash for no extra charge. There's no fee. And Lowell go, oh, we can't do your sidewalk. Well, in Tewksbury, they do.
We have a lot
That's
of
good.
great things, but like I said.
They plow your
I want
sidewalk?
more.
They plow my,
Tewksbury,
in
I want
Tewksbury,
more.
they plow my
I know
sidewalk.
I know some of the main drags in Drake, they do it like near the schools, they plow the sidewalks, but,
We don't do all of our sidewalks.
It's
We
just-
do it because it's
No, it'd be
resources
impossible.
of what we can do.
but it's supposed to get near the
But,
schools,
but,
they
but
do it for
you
us.
want to do the main roads, you want to get
Right.
through, but it's like after the storm's over, I always look around to say, all right, you know what, it's like, and we haven't got that much snow in the last couple of years, but
Oh,
the
boy.
first thing I look at is, when the kids are getting picked up for the school buses, is there a place for the kids to stand on the sidewalk when the buses come along? And can the seniors get up and down these if they're in a wheelchair? Can they get up and down these things, and can they clear these sidewalks to make sure they can do it? We build sidewalks, and if we have them, I want to make sure that people can get where they're going. And one of the frustrations is, a lot of times when we have them, is that we'll clear the sidewalks, the business or somebody will clear their driveway and put mounds on the thing, and we work to try to resolve that as well. But, but like I said, I hate seeing in our community when somebody's in the street trying to get through the roadway because we have a sidewalk there, or we don't have a sidewalk, and people can't get up and down safely, and that's I want to make sure that doesn't happen.
The Tewksbury Town race is on, in the Lowell Sun today. You guys got big comeuppance on the Lowell Sun today, so.
So you're a select board out in Tewksbury. We still have a board of selectmen in Drake. That's changing. A lot of towns are doing it, huh?
Yeah, it came up to town meeting, somebody brought it up, and, honestly, it has to actually get changed to the legislature to actually do it.
Really?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you have to change what you do, but we voted it in, and, we changed it, I still have signs that
Now,
say selectmen, but
you open up, polls open, what, 7 o'clock?
8 o'clock, 8 to 8.
8 to 8?
You know,
8 to 8. Now,
when you
Drake, okay, I just want to say, Drake's election, they cut their hours from 7 to 4 because nobody's voting after 4 o'clock. I guess they're saying that they're paying nobody. I don't know about your town, if they're still voting
You
after
can't
4.
vote if the door's closed,
What's that? No,
Oh, the door's closed.
do you get a heavy?
But no, we'll have that last push of people that come in, because you got to remember, it's in April, so I don't know when your election is.
May.
So
We're the first
so the
Saturday
whole
in
thing
May.
is, we have a lot of, like, the sports are starting up, and the kids are getting ready, and they're going to be out there, and people are running around with their families.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, a couple of years ago, we had one of our lowest turnouts, and it was the reason we had one of the lowest turnouts. It was like 80, 90 degrees out.
Yeah.
And everybody went out, and they were like, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do it. And I'll come back, and I'll vote before the poll things, but I want to go out and enjoy this beautiful weather.
Yeah.
And then it just, one thing led to another, and people just didn't make it to the polls.
You're always the first Saturday in April?
Yeah,
It was the first Saturday in May.
You know, it's
yeah.
actually tough sitting here when you're from Lowell because I listen to trash fees. I go out once a month and give my trash truck, I don't care if it's a female or a guy, a bottle of water, $5 and a banana. Every time. I do it every month because I like that service. Market Basket, I go there 3 or 4 times a week. Why? I like what they do for me. Try to keep prices down. Those are the things that we worry about in Lowell, to
Hey,
me
Bobby, can you
anyways.
move your mic a little bit? I'm not getting a lot.
Yeah,
of
well, to
No,
me,
just put it up
that's
high.
how I feel, like excise taxes.
Thank you.
Don't bother, they don't bother me. Not in Lowell, it doesn't, and trash fees, I never worry about trash fees. Water
Well,
bills,
because you're used to it, Bobby, right?
well, water bills a little bit, they're getting a little higher, but I know more's coming on that. It's just, no, residential taxes in the federal government, what they do to a retired couple, it's unbelievable. I owe again, I shouldn't work. I really shouldn't work. If I didn't work, I think it would be a little bit easier on me.
Well, see, that's the difference that
mean
we
it.
have on some of the things. We have different philosophies in our town where, for a couple of years, we didn't raise our rates because we were able to offset it with, money that we had, we had money in our budget that we were able to do it. But then we built like we're building the DPW, we built the elementary school. And so, the rates are going up of what it is. But, when we built the sewer, we put off some of the debt because we had to, there was, the market changed, people were struggling, so they put somebody off debt, and then it came, all of a sudden, the banks came calling, and that's why our water and sewer rates are so high. But we had a large debt. Now that debt is going away. So little by little, that debt is like, we've already reached the max amount that we're paying. Now, year after year after year, it's going down. So now we're using that money to offset and try to make investments in the water to try to replace water lines. But it's just, some people want to like borrow more money and like borrow, enough that we're doing $13 million in work. And I'm like, it sounds great, but if you're making that, anytime you borrow money, like I'm not part of the spend generation. I don't think you can keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing because you got to pay. And the residents can't afford to be paying that back. I mean, our water and sewer rates are already high, and you got to be able to find that to provide services, but also don't borrow so much that you have to raise taxes every year. So you got to have that fine line.
Tommy,
It's
read this one.
Tewksbury-
Tommy, we got 2.
Yeah.
All right. Check out this sidewalk. Check out this sidewalk. This is in the of Lowell. Thanks,
Downtown, well,
Mr.
it's
Golden.
Middle Street.
How is someone in a wheelchair going to? I can't see the whole thing, John. How is someone going to?
Let me just shrink it up. I didn't know it wasn't fit on your screen.
Going to do, there we go, on the sidewalk. The manager's over in his head, Jay. The state has plenty of dough.
Okay, moving on to
Wanna
the
read
second
that
one.
one too?
I'll slide this guy here
Yeah.
up, shrink it down a little bit. See, it's fitting my
Perfect.
screen, but it's just not fitting.
Perfect. The state has plenty of dough, they just spend it in the wrong places. The state has no problem funding billions of dollars for immigrants. Why can't they fund the money to mark sidewalks in Tewksbury?
Good point.
How's your town financially? Sound? I mean, am I right?
No, we're in good financial shape for the next couple of years.
Yeah, see, we're not.
And it's like, we're in, like, I said, we've made investments, we've done the right thing, our taxes are high. I mean, the taxes are high everywhere. But it really depends on, like, who you talk to. So, like, I always find it amazing where we have a lot of new residents coming to move to Tewksbury. So, every, 2 years, we do a thing with Robert Hayes from the library, and we partner with him, and the town does Meet the New Residents. And so I go there as the president of the chamber, and I hand out welcome bags to everybody coming to town. And my first question is always, where'd you move from, and why are you coming to Tewksbury? And I laugh that we're turning into Medford North, because it's like, where you from? Medford. Where you from? Medford. Where you from? Medford. It seemed like 80% of the people that were coming up to Tewksbury were from Medford. We had some Somerville, we had some people from Indiana, we had some people from California, we had people from all around the place, people from New Hampshire, Maine, other places that were coming. And they all had individual reasons to move there, but they loved our town. They love the open space. They love the community feeling. We provide a lot of services in our town.
They love the price.
Yeah, and so, but one of the things, they said it was affordable. So they said, where they were living was more costly than where they came from to be able to come to Tewksbury. But if you talk to the residents of Tewksbury, it's like, so it really depends on it. Like, I struggle. It's like, paying your bills, having kids, paying your water bills, paying your taxes, trying to get daily life, anybody's that kids, trying to get them through school, trying to save money for retirement, paying your medical expenses. It's just, everything in the world is going up, and people are struggling. And so you have to take that in consideration when you're, trying to do projects in your town. You want to make your town a better place, but you don't want to tax your residents out of your community so that they can't stay in the city or town that they grew up in.
Sure.
So you got to take all that in consideration, and that's, like I said, that's why I get involved in so many different community events, because I listen to it all. I talk with the business owners, and I say, how are we doing? What can we do to keep you to stay, not only bring in new businesses, but if you don't keep the businesses that you have, then you got a problem. Because if you got to look at what everyone else is doing around you and keep an eye on the ball, that somebody doesn't say, you know what, we're going to pack up and we're going to go to the town next to you or 2 towns over because they have a lower commercial rate, or they're providing different services, or whatever it may be. And so making the investment in infrastructure, growing. I mean, we've grown year after year after year. That's the frustrating part, is when the mandate comes through and says you have to build. We've been building. We've been building for 10, 15 years. If there's a parcel that's open in the town of Tewksbury, somebody's going to try to put something on it because it's a great town to live in. And right now, we hold the developers, foot to the iron that, hey, listen, if you're going to want to build here, we understand what you want to get, but how are you going to make it better? If you build something in the town, how does this make Tewksbury a better place? So if you're providing housing, you're providing some affordability. Are you going to do some infrastructure things? Are you going to put sidewalks in front of your place? That's one of the ways that you add. So, a lot of people will say, we make the new developers put a sidewalk in front of theirs, but it doesn't attach to anything. But if you do it there, and then the next person does it, and the next person does it, well, then when we're looking to get those funds to fill in the gaps, it's a lot cheaper than if you have the developers pay to put some of the amenities in as well.
Yep. So.
I see a lot of building going up in Lowell too. I think the biggest change has been the city building department. Over the years, my friends would never want to come to Lowell to work. They didn't want to work in Lowell. But now, because of Sean Machado's his name, I hear his name all the time. The builders are a lot happier.
Wasn't Sean the assistant town manager? Assistant city manager?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So he handled.
I'm just saying,
Okay, I get it.
Some of my friends are retired,
Right.
West Tewksbury Construction. He didn't want to work in Lowell. It was ridiculous.
Well, I
he
think
used to
since
say.
Machado came in, people feel you can work with that guy.
I don't know what it is, but I know
You can
Dave,
work with Machado.
another good builder, Dave Daly, was doing all his work down near the beach in Newburyport area, that area. He's back in Lowell. And wait till Mr. Kazanjian gets back on his feet totally, because he is back on his feet.
Yeah.
Nobody can build more than him. Lowell's going to have a lot of building going
Well,
on. It's already going on right now.
The thing that frustrates me is that, if somebody asks you a question, answer it. You ask me a question, you're not going to have any doubt on where I stand on something. You're not going to get that mixed answer. It's like, hey, do you support the MBTA communities? No. There's an answer. Not, well, I don't like it, but I have to do this, or I have to, it's like, take a stance. You know what I mean? Do you listen to the residents or don't you? And that's the thing that drives me crazy. Ask the candidates and will you vote for this, or are you in favor of this, or will you stand with the residents and fight it? The residents went to town meeting, 80% of them voted against it. And we're going to bring it back to town meeting. I'm guessing that it's going to even be a larger number that's going to vote against it. We're going to have, and the state's going to try to threaten us with holding back our tax dollars and things like that. And we'll fight that fight together, because that's what the residents want us to do. They want us to stand up and stop being bullied and told you have to do something. But if you talk to the other candidates and you like, will you give a straight answer on it? Like, what's your line on it? Yes or no? And you'll get, I'm afraid of this and I have to do that. You don't have to do anything. It's like, this is a free country. Stand up for yourself. The people that are up at the State House are there because we voted them in.
There's a perfect example. We were talking about the delegation. What's your delegation telling you to do on this issue? Are they advising you? They know they're up there.
It's once again, it goes back and forth. I mean, they voted it for it.
You have 3 reps.
They voted for it. But then after, like, Tewksbury voted for it, against it, Wilmington voted against it, and then, like, one of the reps filed an amendment to it that, certain things, like Representative Lombardo filed a bill over in Billerica, that if you're over your 10%, you should be exempt from the MBTA Communities Act, which we are over our 10%. And what make you think, because it's a party thing, and nobody will support it, it's do what's best for your residents. Don't play the party politics. Do what your residents ask you to do. And that's what we're asking you to listen to your constituents. That's all I'm asking for.
You know what? I hear that, Mark. I say, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. Chelmsford last year went up about an average of $500 on property taxes, and Tewksbury didn't go up a nickel. They did go up on their commercial rate, I believe, but they didn't go up on their residential rates.
We do a shift each year, and so it's like, you have to, when you're doing that shift, you have to, like I said, the easiest thing to tell residents is, hey, listen, we're going to lower your taxes and we're going to push it on the commercial and make them pay more. But you don't want to chase businesses out of town, because those businesses pay a lot of taxes to your community. So you have to always do that fine line of, all right, where's that, like, how are the businesses doing? Are the businesses strong? Do they have, like, are they, do they want to stay in this community because of what the rate is and the services to provide? You always have to have, like, strong workforce. We have the techs around here that provide educated, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, things like that, that teach things, which is, I think that's great. You got the schools, the local schools that teach our kids great, we have an educated workforce. You're going to have people that are going to be endless supply of people that are coming through. We're growing our population, but we're growing it the way we want it to grow. If you can't grow and have without additional services, and you can't keep taxing the residents and just say, we want you to do something, we want you to build something that you don't want, and we want you to pay for it, and we're going to tax you. It's poor government. I don't like it, and like I said, I'm going to stand with the residents on all these issues.
Yeah, because they're the ones that put you in there.
That's our job. Our job is to listen to them.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. If that meeting last week, if residents were there and spoke up, it might have been gone a different way, because I know the residents aren't happy with this.
No,
And I understand working for the town where they're coming from, but the average person doesn't understand it, you know? So-
I got questions from like one of the newspapers, like in the state of the country, and how do you feel your town's doing? And I'm like, and I told them, I said, I focus on my town. Like, if everybody focused on making their city or town a better place, and just focused on their constituents and what they're asking for, and provide the services that they're asking for, working together, if everybody just took care of their own little community, the world would be a much better place. Like you're talking about cities and towns that they're so different. You know, it's like, compared to Somerville, Cambridge, you know, Boston, compared to Lowell, Tewksbury, Chelmsford, Billerica, it's a whole different world, you know, of what the life is. People moved here for a reason. For Tewksbury, they moved there because they were trying to get away from the city. They didn't want the hustle and bustle. They liked the small town feeling. They liked it, you know, they know all their friends in the neighborhood. They know, you know, you can get down into the coffee shop. You pretty much know everybody. Everyone's friendly. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Like, I have an awesome town to live in. And I understand that everyone would want to come there. And so, you know, we're trying to work to make housing available, but on our, you know, level of, you know, provide the infrastructure that's required to do it. You know, make sure our schools can handle it, make sure, you know, our police, our fire, all the other services that are needed to do so are doing it. I mean, I'd love to have more people move to our community because they want to come here for a better way of life. And I understand that. If I lived in another city or town, I'd want to move there too. But that's what it's all about.
Did your selectmen's race, did you guys have a debate at all?
No.
No, 'cause I was gonna say, well,
I
was
thought that
saying-
was funny. It's like every year they're chasing down a debate.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering what these two issues would be, meaning what's wrong with the town, where we gotta fix here?
I don't think the newspapers wanted to have a debate.
And the
because-
person, Rich Russo, he's running for one of the seats now. You only have 4 selectmen right now, right? You have an
We
open
have, so what is, I'm running for reelection.
Somebody quit, right?
Yeah. One of the select board members resigned because she became the town manager in another town, and then she moved out of state. So that's
Okay.
the thing, so.
All right. So he's running for her unexpired term.
Well, they're all running. I mean, it's.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
You're all running, yeah.
they're all running, but, you know, like I said, it
That's
just,
right. So-
it comes down to, it's like, you know, having, I love the fact that new people got involved. I love the fact that they're going, but where we are right now, I think we need some experience up there to, like I said, we got some fights and our battles in front of us, and we need people that are gonna listen to the residents of what's going on. And that's why I'm running again, because I listen to people and I'll fight for them. And like I said, this isn't gonna be an easy battle, and you want somebody that has some experience and knows how and what to do, so.
Do you have is your town manager, is that a strong town manager? We call it Driggett a strong town manager form of government, where he or she basically does everything. In other words, you don't.
We absolutely do.
Okay, so you can't get, maybe like,
Well,
I think the selectmen might approve the police chief and fire chief appointment, but other than that, any other appointments.
We
they
approve
have
everything,
hands up.
but the whole thing
Oh,
is,
see that?
you hire a town manager for a reason. The town manager is supposed to oversee the sections in the town, and if you start needling on what everything happens, and you start like cutting somebody off at the knees, then all of a sudden, you know, the person doesn't have that authority. You hire somebody because you think they can do the job. Let them do the job. You know, like, don't meddle in, like, if somebody comes to me and says, I've got a problem, I say, you can call me anytime. Give me a call, and I'll go talk to the town manager.
But
I'm not gonna tell the town manager what to do. I'm gonna say, listen, somebody came to me, this is what the issue is, I wanna make sure this person is heard. And if I'm not able to answer it, I want you to meet with this person, so this person gets their voice across to you, and I want you to listen to both sides of the story and make the best decision. But I'm not gonna like tell them, do this or do that, because I said, there's always two sides to the story.
Like, say he appointed a new health director next week. Do you guys approve that, or is that his appointment?
It's his appointment, but what he would do is they would say, I have this person, this is why I'm bringing, like to bring it in. There's, here's the interview process that we went through.
Okay.
Here's this what we did. This is what we're doing, and I want to appoint this person, and this is why. And then we can ask questions. Well, did you do it? Did you go
Yeah,
through?
that doesn't go in trigger like that. They just, the
The way
person.
government's supposed to be run.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But
let
no,
the
I
person do
remember-
their job,
'Cause
but
I-
also explain to us
Yeah.
why you think
gonna
this
go to
person
break.
is
We'll
best.
be
All
right
right, good. Off with the mic. Everybody, and welcome to the April 1st edition of City Life. With me this morning is my co-host Bob Hoey and my favorite selectman from Tewksbury, Mark Kratman. I just want to say something before we get going. I had to ask John earlier, does this show go out to everybody for 2 hours? He said only in Lowell, and the other communities get it for 2 hours, but I'm just making a quick announcement that today will be my last show. I decided I didn't want to do it this way, but I wanted next Monday I start as a co-host on WCAP morning show, so I wanted to let you all know that, and I also wanted to let you know that it's April Fool's Day, so that was an April Fool's joke.
I was waiting for that.
I saw the look on John's face when I said it.
Well, usually Tom's pretty upfront. He tells you stuff ahead of time.
I gotta get a way to get my wife. I get my wife every year,
The first hour, the Dawn Patrol, Mark went over pretty much everything he has to do to be one of the selectmen in Tewksbury. But when I sit here and I know City Life's on, someone said something really nice about me yesterday. Fred Wilkie said he seen me picking up some trash on the connector, and he might have, because I did pick up a little trash that was getting close to the road. But there's a person that cleans the Prince Spaghetti Bridge over here on Gorham Street, or when it used to say Prince Macaroni on it, and the Durkin Bridge on Lincoln Street. On a daily basis, he cleans it, and on a weekly basis, he sweeps both sides of the street and leaves a bag for the DPW to pick up. He's retired, and he's a good friend of mine. He ran for president once or twice. He likes to do that, and he likes to prepare for the marathon every year, John Iannucci. And you might have seen him because he was on the connector too.
Bob, you can read this one.
Is Hoey asleep? I feel like I'm asleep, yeah. I've been very busy, and it's just fun to be busy when you have 5 grandchildren. That's where a lot of my time is spent around grandchildren. So I like cooking for them. I like bringing them to school. I like doing whatever I can. And I still work, and we were talking about that earlier. You know, the IRS is really getting to me. My wife and I are both at retired age, and every year it seems like they want more and more and more out of me. I'm dying to see all these tax breaks. That's all no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security.
That's next year.
I hope so. I hope so.
Tommy, read this one.
Tom, you son of a gun, you got me. Kudos, bot.
You know, but I want to say this, Mark. I really like having you here because my favorite person in Lowell is Eric Gitcher, without a doubt. And I know you were here for his last campaign and his campaign parties, and he's a worker. I've never seen a man, and I've been involved in this stuff in Lowell for a long time, that can outwork this guy. He's incredible. And he can't get, out of 11 people, he can't get 6 votes. And I think he's right 90% of the time.
That's not true, because he gets the votes of the residents when he runs for
Oh,
re-election.
he's got that.
So it's like,
You're right.
He actually-
so when you get the votes of the residents, that's the votes that you care about. It's not what other people do. Your number one badge of honor should be, how do the residents vote for you? And do they stand behind you? And are you doing the job? And I think Eric's one of those people that go out and listens to his constituents and the residents and what they ask him to do. He's not trying to go out and do something for the greater of Eric. He's going out because he goes and talks to people, finds out what they want him to do, and then he does the job. That's what it's all about. It's like, this isn't rocket science. It's like, your job is to go out, talk to the people in your community, find out what they want you to do, and then go represent them. It's a simple job. Do it.
And that's why, for the people that didn't see the Dawn Patrol, you had to say that 100 times.
Yeah.
Work for the residents.
Yeah.
And that's what he
is.
does. He works hard. He doesn't
Yeah.
care.
But-
He asks the tough questions. He's not afraid to ask the tough questions. And if you talk to the guy, he's not doing it to bust chops, as they say. He's doing it for the residents. He's not doing it to make Golden look bad or make the council look bad. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that or not, but
I think
that's what I think.
the top amount of votes he ever got, I think, is 4, that sided with him. But you'll see them starting to come around a little bit. Same thing at the federal level. The Democrats are going to have to come around to the common sense type of things. They can't just keep saying no. And same thing in the local election. People better beware. The budget hearing's coming up, and I'm just telling you, there's some competition out there. It's starting to grow.
We have Josh Taylor out in Draycott, who I refer to as the Eric Gitcher of Draycott. And now, let me ask you a question. You might not know the answer to this, you two guys. Halloween, do you have to set that every year, or is it automatically the 31st?
We do, but it's the
That's-
31st every year.
Josh Taylor
It's like
said
saying
that.
Thanksgiving's going to be
Well,
on Thursday.
Josh
I don't know why we do it.
Josh Taylor, last year, they brought up before the selectmen, he said, why do we have to do this? It's the 31st of every year. It's from...
I sit there myself. What are the hours going to be? Oh, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8? I don't know. It's the same thing every year.
But when he said, let's just not, they shot him down. They want to vote on that. It's like a power thing to control Halloween.
Can I ask you a really simple question?
Sure.
This is another thing of government. If your town said, you know what, we're going to make Halloween on the 29th, are the kids not going trick-or-treating on Halloween?
Well,
They're going to be like, yeah, thank you very much for your opinion. They're going on Halloween.
I'm going to tell you a story. John's favorite town manager, Jim Duggan, wanted to make Halloween the last Saturday of October, and it was shot. The residents were up in arms. They want to have Halloween on Halloween. You laugh at it, yeah. They want it on Halloween.
I don't
Well,
like
Tommy,
I
let
said,
me
this-
just put this into your WCAP ear.
He got you, though. He got you.
You're going down there for a higher salary. I like the way Tewksbury does Halloween. They have a big extravaganza at the high school. The kids walk around over there. They do a fantastic. It's during daylight hours. So if you got a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old, the kid's not running around in the dark.
Oh, you don't do nighttime Halloween?
No, so what he's talking about is that we also have, we have other events in the community. So there are
We
people
do too.
that like, they have little tiny kids and whatever it is. So we have trunk or treat. So like the
We do
schools
that
will do a
too,
bunch
yeah.
of things. But the police department will run a thing, Safe Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a lot of businesses that come down. I always get down and I make my hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my containers, I make, 3 or 4 big
And it's good hot
containers of hot
chocolate,
chocolate. And I laugh about it because they always put me next to the Board of Health. And I'm like, so they put me next to the Board of Health that says, this candy bar has so many grams of sugar, and this one has so many grams of sugar. And there I am, and I got my hot chocolate that I make with, whole milk and hot chocolate, and I'm giving out marshmallows and whipped cream. And I'm like, you know what, when we were kids, it's not gonna, yes, I understand that there's concerns about kids and obesity and things like that, but it's Halloween, let the kids have their fun, so I'm always next to them. They're saying how many grams are on everything like that.
Oh.
Well, I'm filling up hot chocolate, putting whipped cream and marshmallows on everything.
I remember my son, he's big on that with his 2 kids, about sugars and this and that. And one of my grandsons says to me, Zhazhu, it's the Polish green, he says, this has so many grams, Dad. He says, I said, listen, Bill, Daddy doesn't live. When you're in Zhazhu's house, you eat what you want.
Yeah, that's the, yeah.
And I said to my son, you don't remember when your grandmother gave you candy and snuck you candy and oh man.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I put out the bowls of candy, I put the things. But I mean, one of the things that, like the police department does a wonderful thing. They do Safe Halloween, the Elks, the Lions, the schools will do trunk or treat. And they'll have other events where you can go on the weekend if you want to go. And you're concerned about your kids staying up too late or walking around, or maybe you get out of work a little bit late and you're going to miss it. I mean, some people work nighttime hours. There's nurses, doctors, everybody else, other people that just happen to be, that aren't home at between 6 and 8, and they feel like their kid's missing out on things. So we have these extra.
Because it's a different time now. When we were
Yeah,
kids,
the
our
little
parents,
kids
my
tend to
parents
come
were
down.
both, well, my father worked, my mother was always home. But I mean, in this day and age, both parents are usually working or involved in this extracurricular activity, that extracurricular activity, so.
My favorite thing is I always laugh. It's like I'm getting ready for the Memorial Day parade. And John, thank you. Like John comes out and he gives us the bags. He has like his Tewksbury Funeral Home bags, little plastic bags, and he hands them out to the crowd. Because I always laugh. We got Memorial Day and the kids are all lining the curbs from Town Hall all the way up to the other end. And so as we have the parade and everybody's marching, to honor us, service people that, gave their lives for our country, and we're doing this Memorial Day parade, everyone is also throwing candy out to the crowd. And so you see the kids sitting on the curb with a pumpkin, in May. And it's almost like they get more candy, I think, on Memorial Day than they do on Halloween. And we're throwing the things out. And a lot of time the kids would be out there trying to figure out what to do with it. And then I see John running up and down the street handing the kids little plastic bags. So thank you for your assistance with that, John. You're always helpful.
My son Jack and my son Joe, that's their
Yeah.
forte. And Joanna, they love doing all that good stuff. But it's well attended, Mark. I mean, there's not a lot of publicity. Hey, they have the electronic town sign they put out. They'll say, don't forget, we're having the Memorial Day celebration this week, whatever day it's going to be. And they come out, and it's 4 people deep on the sidewalk. On 38.
I remember the Lions Club in Cherokee years ago, because my boys went to it, would have a thing at the school, and it was an alternative to Halloween, if you didn't want your kids going out in the streets. And that thing was well attended. They had games, and they had this and that, and they handed candy out to all the kids, but it was like in the school. You dressed up in your uniforms, costumes, but it was an alternative to going out in the streets, and that was when the Lions Club ran it out in one of the schools.
That's the one thing that I just asked for people to be I mean, it's a day of, it's a community event, but I asked them to be respectful and remember what the Memorial Day parade and why we're having it. So when the kids are coming and they're marching in the parade, I asked them, if you're a baseball, wear your baseball uniform. If you're in a karate, wear your karate thing, wear your things. But I mean, it's always led by our veterans going up and down. And, you talk about trying to change things, John, like the world of political correctness and things like that. Like I had a group of people that just don't like me. And I honestly don't care. I just say, you can't make everybody,
No, of
it's
course.
I listen to the majority of my community, and there's a group of people that just don't like me, and I don't lose any sleep over it either way.
Misguided folks.
No, but they came
fact-
up and they started giving me grief about the Memorial Day parade, that we shouldn't have the Memorial Day parade. That's a day of mourning and loss and things like that, and that we shouldn't have, and we should have maybe a thing. And I'm like, listen, yeah, I've been like organizing it for the last 20 years, but it was going on like 80 years before me. It's like, this thing's been going on forever in our community. And it's just because you dislike me, you want to try to get rid of something. It's like, this is for the community. I help organize it. I help put it together. But it's like, it's going to be long after I'm gone. This thing's going to continue because we'll have people that step up that'll help run these things to make sure. And if you talk to the veterans, it's like, if somebody said, "Oh, we're not going to have it," they're going to march down the main street no matter what. They don't care. They're going to go up and down.
Bob, you want to read this
Did
one?
one of the,
Ask Kratman what can be done about the horrendous traffic on Route 38. Also, his hot chocolate is excellent.
I can't wait for the hot chocolate. I can't wait till Halloween now and go get some.
All I can tell you is I'm working on it. 38 is that's one of the things that I ran when I ran like a decade ago. It's 38 was in such horrendous condition. And, when I asked, it's like, what are we doing? Well, we keep asking for funds and we want to do it from town lines and things, and we want it all done at once. And I'm like, you can't do it all at once because you put the businesses out, you got to break it up into sections. So you have to have a comprehensive plan of how you're doing it, what you're doing it, asking for the funds at the right time, trying to, if you, it would be really hard to widen the whole thing. I mean, you'd have to take land from all the property owners. There would be something to do. But if you widen intersections and you do traffic improvements at certain intersections, it's going to alleviate that traffic. One of the big bottlenecks that we have on 38 is up on South Tewksbury is with Maselli bridges. You come over that bridge at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the traffic is backed up to all the way to Salem and South. And so when you're coming over that, traffic backs up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and really starts going. And I think if we widen that intersection, I think we need to widen the Maselli Bridge to make that, instead of 2 lanes, make it into 4 lanes. And then when you get out to the other intersection, when you get to Shawsheen, we widen that intersection already, having traffic going up Shawsheen, having people going the other way, cutting through and going around. There's improvements that you can make. But once again, don't build 1,200 units down there, because you put 1,200 units down there, everybody better get a helicopter, because I don't know how you're getting in and out of that area, because that's the thing you have to do. It's like, make sure that the community has a voice of what's being built in your community. Pay attention, go to planning board meetings, talk to your elected officials, ask them to listen to you, what you want, and then try to provide the services. That's the job.
What you were saying earlier about people not liking you, did I hear that one of the local newspapers went after you personally? My son told me this.
No,
actually.
it's just, what it is that they'll write negative stories about,
Right.
but they won't write it, like I do 100 positive things.
That's
and
what I see.
You'll never see anything about
That's
it.
what my son said. He said,
And I could care less. I just,
Yeah.
like, my skin is
Well, it's
30
just-
feet
it's
thick.
just like-
I don't need approval from that group. I need approval from the residents of Tewksbury. When I walk into a store, when I walk around town, I got people, Mark, how you doing? I got people come over, give me a hug, shake my hand, and say, thank you so much, you're doing the job. That's all I need. I don't need a newspaper story. I don't need anything else. I want to walk in my community every day. I sleep very well at night. And what I do is that I walk around the town. I can't walk into somebody without somebody saying hello to me and saying thank you for what you're doing. That's enough for me. I could care less about what some blogger or somebody else writes. Like I said, it doesn't bother me in the slightest.
It's just like the Sun. Their column is so negative. Even this past Sunday, so I'm not going to bring it up, but I mean, stupid things they write about. I mean, and the reporting staff is just ugh.
Unfortunately, I
remember Danny
I don't read
Phelps.
the
Bring
newspaper
Danny
a lot
Phelps back.
because it frustrates me. It's like every day there's like a firefighter, saves somebody's life. The coaches are doing wonderful things in our community. Nurses are saving lives. people are helping down at the seniors, helping people that are having tragedies. There's somebody that's helping somebody every single day. And do you ever read that in a paper?
No.
You know, and that's
It's all the negative stuff.
If that was in the newspaper, I'd read the
Yeah.
paper a lot more. That's
Yeah.
all I can tell you.
Yeah.
It's just showing people, helping people. All these things, there's wonderful things happening every single day, and you don't hear about it. You hear about the controversy, all the this or that. The world's
They're always
twisted,
looking
and
for
it like I said,
negativity.
I don't know. I think I just have a different mentality. I don't have time for it. Like,
I'm
I'm
surprised-
so busy doing things in the
shocked-
community
I'm
that I
shocked.
just don't focus on it.
I'm shocked that they put that nice article in about Dave Nangle this past, I don't know if anybody saw it, was a beautiful article about Dave and his.
It was headlines, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And they had a nice article about your sister, I think it was yesterday, Bob, Ronnie. About
I don't read the paper, so I
her
wouldn't
and that,
know,
what's his
but,
name, Dave Aldridge, is that the guy?
yep.
Yeah.
I think there's some people that are listening and they're going out there and you see things, like I said, like we have like a local newspaper and I honestly believe that people take the front couple of pages and they go like this and stuff it over here. And then they take the part that they're interested in. Here's the sports page. Here's my kid playing in a game. And here's the thing. That's the part that they read. They want to read about, oh, did this one make this or this one?
We
did
actually
that,
had
like
two,
that.
we had, besides the Little Sun, we once had two local newspapers in Drake and they're both gone. We used to have two.
Well, it's just like I
Well,
said, people
it's a
want
weekly thing, but,
people
you know.
want to read to find out what's happening in their community, what's positive, what's going on. I mean, yeah, you got to tell both sides of the story. I mean, it's just like it is what it is. You know what it's like? It's like you shouldn't have to sugarcoat things. You can tell the things, but also, it's like you want to put the positive out there as well. Newspapers shouldn't just be negative. That's all. And it just, but like I said, I don't give them 5 seconds of my time on most
but
things.
you're
that
right,
they're doing.
Mark, but I saw the Sun go after you, always but I mean, they can never write, Mark's done this for the community. How they were going after the Olympia, Artie Tingus, God rest his soul. I mean, those stupid things they write, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sell newspapers, I don't think.
I don't think about it for 5 seconds.
Check this one out. Should
Tommy,
we
read
start?
this stuff?
Should we start investing jetpacks to get around? I bet Mr. McD would buy one.
No, I'm too old for that. I'm thinking about an electric bicycle, but I don't know about that.
No, but
One
this,
more, Tommy?
Mr. Hogan, good morning, John. Lively discussion, wishing Mark Kratman well, April 5th. Bobby, be careful. There could be trolls up under those bridges. Good Tommy, happy retirement here. Hooters is closing shop.
I live on the border of Tewksbury, basically, the end of Lawrence Street, take a right on Boylston, and once you go over 495, you take a left. It's a shortcut to Jade East, which I had some Jade East the other day. It was tremendous. But they redid that road. But if you wanted to cut down some traffic on 38, Whipple Road has always been an issue of potholes because of frost heaves and trees and all that type of stuff. But it's a pretty rough road. It is, even now, it's still a pretty rough road. I know they're working on it, but once that road is clear and smooth, a lot of traffic would go off of 38.
Well, Whipple Road is like, honestly, it goes, the speeds on that road are like, pick up because people
45,
drive awfully
50,
quick on that
yeah.
road. But we got the money, the APA funds, and a lot of money, communities spent their money in different things, but we took all of ours and we replaced the water line from, on Whipple, from like Chandler all the way down to the Old Town line. I think we spent like $8 million. We took those funds to replace that area. And so, now, we have to repave that section of roadway and get all the, the different things, but it's just, finding ways to repair water lines, getting some state and federal money hopefully to come in to try to offset that, try to find any grants, anything that we can do to try to replace things. But when you're doing roadway projects, like you talk about, infrastructure and things like that, you always have to take into consideration what you're doing.
I got to do announcements.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I want to congratulate Frank and Lee Cavallo for a wonderful career, serving great pizza. Those two guys are retiring. They retired yesterday, and this was on Facebook. I haven't seen Frank or Lee to chit-chat with them, but thanks for all the great food over the years. Expressos is not going to change. It'll be the same. Everything's going to be the same. It's just changing hands. But menu's going to stay the same. Everything's going to stay the same. That's so I guess yesterday was their last day, and today is the first day of the new management.
Great pizza.
Also, George's Delicatessen up on Gorham Street, best sub shop on the planet. Today they celebrate 60 years. And whenever you go up there, whatever you get, I don't care if you get a chicken dinner or you get a torpedo, whatever you get, it's scrumptious and it fills you right up. Good stuff. And God bless Lou and the crew up there. Good people. I got to open up all these announcements now. Where are they? Here. What happened to the phone? There it is. Okay. So from here to, well, we don't have to do May yet. We'll just do April. Coming at the speed of my fingers here. Okay, so first one is Danielle McFadden's having a party. Danielle's running for school committee citywide, and her party is this week, Thursday, April 3rd, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Mount Pleasant Golf Club, 141 Staple Street. Hope to see you up there. Let's get the party started. Campaign kickoff for Francisco Maldonado for Lowell City Council's Highlands District 8, Friday, April 4th, 2025. That's this week, this Friday, 7 p.m., Mount Pleasant Golf Club, 141 Staple Street in lovely Lowell. And if you take out your smartphone, put it in camera mode, and you zero in on this QR code, it'll bring you to a website that you can donate to his campaign. Chelmsford Dog Park Spring Work Party to clean the whole place up. So, your Chelmsfordians, 52 Richardson Road, they need some help to tidy up the place. It's only going to be one day, and it's 100% volunteer. It's going to be April 5th, 8 a.m. to noon. The rain date is April 6th, and the address for the dog park is 52 Richardson Road in North Chelmsford, and it's quite the dog park. We need to hear from you. Okay. I guess Lowell General Hospital is doing this, or I don't know who's doing this. Help us improve Greater Lowell. Scan the barcode and take the 2025
John,
health
excuse me 1 second, I'll be right back, sorry.
health survey. Just take your camera phone out and zero it on this guy here, or question come up, and that'll help out answer these questions. Spring Volunteer Fair. It's going to be April 5th, Saturday, April 5th, 9 to noon at the St. Anne's Episcopal Church, 8 Kirk Street in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. I'd love to see you down there. Let me shrink this up so you can see the whole thing. Looking at the wrong screen here. Moving right along. Taste of the Town. This is out Wilmington, Tewksbury. All the restaurants get together, and they're going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn, $30 a ticket. And this is a good event. I go to this and go in there. You meet all these restaurant owners are there, and they have all their treats, whether it's steak tips or cake, whatever they have. It's a good time had by all. It's going to be Tuesday, April 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. They also have a QR code. So just take a look at that, and with your smartphone, put it in camera mode. It'll bring you to a web page that will explain this a little bit more. Health fair is coming up in Tewksbury, April 9th. So if you're interested in the health fair, 175 Chandler Street in Tewksbury. That's the Tewksbury Senior Center. It's going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. If you have some questions, Susan Timmons' phone number is on the bottom there. So just take a picture of this screen and you can move right along. Campaign kickoff party for Corey Belanger. And it's going to be, the committee to elect Corey Belanger invite you to his Corey Belanger Lowell City Council District 3 Belvedere campaign kickoff Thursday, April 10th, 2025 at the Long Meadow Golf Club, 165 Havilah Street, Lowell. Community commitment, courage. Suggested donations start at $20 and go up. Make the checks payable to CTE Corey Belanger. Sexto to Jesus. He's having a party. And that's going to be, join us for Sexto for Lowell City Council campaign kickoff fundraiser Thursday, April 10th at 6 p.m. Sexto to Jesus campaign kickoff. Public's invited. Counselor at large. He's going for Counselor at large. Wow. Sexto invited you. So it's going to be at Cato Fusion, Asian Fusion, Lowell, 72 Merrimack Street. in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. And hope to see you over there. Pop pictures. This is at the Chelmsford Dog Park, April 12th, 1 to 3 p.m. 1 to 3 p.m. Put your dog in a cute little Easter Bunny outfit. You can see a picture of one of the dogs down here. It's a good idea. April 12th, 1 to 3 p.m. at the dog park, which is 52 Richardson Road in North Chelmsford. Rita Mercia is having a party. City Councilor Rita Mercia, former mayor. Her party's going to be Friday, April 18th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Bunting Club, which is at 449 Boylston Street, $10 donation. Always great grub at Rita's parties, and of course you can make a check out for whatever you want, but $10 donation, it's quite the bargain. And that's my last announcement. Back over to you, Tommy. Thank you.
You had mentioned Tewksbury's, what Taste of the Town. Drake had theirs last night at Lindsay's. I didn't go to it, but all the different restaurants.
Yeah,
and
Tony Archinsky had a picture of that. Let me see if I can find
yeah,
put
it's
that
pretty
up.
packed. It's pretty packed usually. I went a couple of years ago. I've been up there a few times. So it's pretty well attended. Is that, do you know if that Mel Donato he's running against, I think, John Dakota up in the Highlands? Is he the former police officer? Does anybody know? I think
Yeah,
it's-
he is.
Yeah,
Retired, just recently retired.
yeah, so.
Nice guy.
The Taste of the Town, we run that through the chamber. It's one of my favorite events because it's like a win-win-win.
I'll go there hungry. I mean, and the one in Drake, you have to go hungry because there's so many good food, tasty things.
What it is that we have the hotel that allows us to use this spot, and they donate the location to us.
Yeah,
The restaurants come, they donate the food, and they give out the food to everybody for free.
yeah,
We charge a fee for people to enter, and 100% of that goes to scholarships to the community. So you get promote a local facility, the people see the investment they made in the new hotel. You get to taste all the different food, and like I said, it's all 100% of the money goes to kids in our community for scholarships. So it's just, I can't think of a better thing to go to.
sure.
Drake and Selectman Tony Archinsky put this on his Facebook page. Great crowd dining around Drake. So it is a good crowd, so.
So Bobby, we haven't really talked about Lowell much. Is there any talk of that school committee race? Is any of the incumbents getting out, or?
Haven't heard. Right now, it should be Danielle.
Still right now, there's 4 people then.
Danielle McFadden, I hope, tops the ticket out of the 4, and then you have.
We hope you hop the ticket.
No, I want to be number 2. I want to be number 2. But Danielle did something fabulous by entering the race, and I hope people put her at the top of the ticket.
Yeah.
She, number one,
we
she
don't know if
has
the two
three.
are-
Number one, she has 3 children in the system, and the rest of us don't. Some of us have grandchildren, but she just ignited the whole race, which is a great thing. It's
I was
great
with her
to
the
get
other
people
day.
out
She
there.
did a chamber breakfast, though, and she had it over in Tewksbury at that Hilton as well. So
I
she
think I
had,
saw that.
she had, Tommy Golden was there, the town manager, John Cameron was there, town manager of Chelmsford, and town manager of Tingsboro was there. And there's a lot of ribbing going on because they were talking about Bill Ricker, which I'm not going to bring up, but they were having a couple of jokes back and forth at that, and but Danielle did a great job. Had a lot of the local businesses. She runs the Greater Lowell Chamber. I run I'm the president of the Tewksbury Wilmington, but we do things together because our goal is to help local businesses. So. I talked to her quite a bit about things like that. She's doing a wonderful job.
I was surprised to see our new town manager wasn't there because I heard about that event, and then it would have been a good opportunity for her to meet the community. Yeah, what's going on with the water out in Billerica? I mean, Jesus, what are they drinking out there? That town. Oh,
I got
and from what I understand, this,
Richard Montori from there, and now I got John Cowan from there. So
now
I'm not complaining.
But this guy Clancy, he just, it's a shame because I heard nothing but good things about him. So, I mean, I don't know what happened, but obviously something.
I heard a lot of complaints about Tewksbury water bills over the years.
Oh, okay.
I've
yeah.
mentioned it to Mark a few times.
Yep.
Because they've built so many townhouses and condos. I don't know if they're rentals or people are buying them, but they leave like bad bills. They take off and don't pay their water bill. So it's put on somebody else, That's what I heard.
Somebody owns the property, they're going to come back and they're going to put it on
Yeah.
whoever the property is. Isn't like the new person's going to have to take it. It's going to be, somebody's going to have to pay it. So if somebody owned the lease or owned something, whoever the property owner is going to be responsible for it. But like I said, there is we get a lot of complaints, and they're for good reason. You know what I mean? It's like people are complaining that, they're paying high water bills. We have brown water, we have water breaks, and they're absolutely right that they deserve better. And so what we're trying to do is focus on trying to find ways, like I said, we went from 2 million to 5.5 million to try to replace water lines. But everything has to be taken into consideration when you're doing it. Because if you're replacing a water line, that means you're digging up a roadway. And so, okay, I want to coordinate. If we're replacing a water line, I want our DPW to talk to the utility companies, like the gas company, and say, if we're going to tear up this roadway and we're replacing this water line, is there a gas line that needs to be replaced out here as well? So see if you can get National Grid out here. If they have a line that has to be replaced in the next 3 or 4 years, get them out there and replace it as well. Because this way, when we're done with our work, they'll be done with their work, and then you resurface that roadway, and then you shouldn't have to dig it up for another decade. It should be fine, and or do any major repairs to it at least. And you have to coordinate stuff to make sure that there's nothing worse than digging something up, making a repair, paving a roadway, and then all of a sudden see somebody out there with a backhoe digging up a brand new roadway. It frustrates me. It shouldn't happen. So doing those coordinations and make sure that that doesn't happen in your community is imperative.
When I was a
Bomil,
young,
you got two to read here.
does Bomil think town manager Curran will be a short timer like Richard Russo thinks?
What do I care?
This one,
You are correct, Bob. JD's has great Chinese food.
now Bobby, you shot this video yesterday.
Yeah, that was one of them.
So you were under the Roger Street Bridge.
No, this here is the Hunts Falls Bridge over near St. John's.
Oh, boy.
And then the next video, they move because there's no leaves on the trees, but they'll be back.
So what are we looking at here, Bob?
That's the Hunts Falls Bridge that you can see, the water, Merrimack River.
Okay.
And if you keep looking, it's over near St. John's Hospital.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
That had, a few views, but the other one under the Roger Street Bridge was
That's
the
the one I thought I had here. I'll go look at that
No, that's
one, too.
okay. But when I was a young lad there, I used to go to Tewksbury quite a bit with my grandfather because he worked for a guy named Russell Gath, putting in septic tanks, Mark. And I'm just curious, does Tewksbury still have a lot of septic tanks, or are they all in storage?
There's still septic out there, but it's minimum. It's not. We don't have a lot of there's a lot of homeowners and a lot of places that still have septic. But what happens is if you sell or you do something over, you have to connect. If the thing fails,
That's like Drake.
you're not
Yeah.
putting it in a new
Yeah.
thing. So it's
I think
not-
Drake is 98,
This is under the
99%
Roger Street
sewer.
Bridge.
Yeah, this is near the old Mother Hubbard dog food place, and
Jeez.
right underneath the Roger Street Bridge. A lot of your bridges have people underneath it because they get overhead cover from the rain, and. But
Bobby, I went and did a video. I'm not going to show the videos today. Maybe if we have time tomorrow, show
Yeah.
the videos. It doesn't go to Chelmsford. As soon as the homeless, they hang out in Lowell, but as soon as they get to the Chelmsford line, they don't do it in Chelmsford. I mean, Lowell, they got trailers, boats,
yeah,
all
well,
kinds of stuff in Lowell, and they get away with it.
Yeah, but
But
you
they
know,
don't get away with it in Chelmsford.
but about 4,500 people viewed this, and it's because other people share it, like yourself, Eric Gitcher, people like that. That's why the number grows so high. But this is really just a small amount compared to what we have in some spots. But if you put them all together, it's still a big issue.
Would you have to climb down an embankment, Bob, to get
No, I
there?
had to climb over a fence, but I had
Huh.
pointed shoes on.
Just be
I
careful.
knew what to wear.
Well,
Well,
But look at this mess.
I grew up on that river, Tom. I know it, and I feel safe
I
near
can't
it.
believe the health department's so involved in this. Cleaning that
the
up.
biggest thing is getting the stuff out of there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, how do you get in there to
You
clean
know,
the
it
area up?
would crack
And
you
it-
up. You
and-
don't see everything. Underneath, you got people, they got their own electricity. They have a couple of compressors in there, air compressors for their bikes that they take out of our
When you're not
backyards.
paying rent and you're not paying taxes, you can afford all these portable generators and stuff.
Yeah, the generators that they have, though, you don't know what's behind those curtains. You don't know if it's someone dead behind there. I yelled out a few things to them, but no one responds. They don't want to come out, and I don't blame them. They're embarrassed, probably. But that's pretty bad living conditions, no matter what you
Yeah,
say.
it's unsafe.
This
I
is
mean,
underneath the Roger Street Bridge.
Yeah, there's one compressor right there. And that came out of somebody's yard, I think, anyways. But that's how they stay warm. They get electricity and they have propane tanks and grills and everything like that. And they're not paying $2,400 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. They're living under there.
Wow. You got up close, Bob, huh?
What's that? Oh, you don't think my wife's happy about me?
No,
walking
I'm
through
sure
those
she isn't.
spots. I like the thrill. It's always fun to go down there. I went down there last year and there was one couch, one person.
Wow.
And he moved over to the other bridge on Mammoth Road.
That's it, Bobby?
That's it.
I'll get back to you guys. Welcome to Lowell.
Yeah.
I think that little thing when they sent you about covering to you, I think that was a little jab at
Oh, yeah, I
Mr.
know.
Russo. But
Yeah,
it's like,
of
I think that was taken out of, context. I think what he was saying is, I think the conversation was, you heard some people complaining and he
Yeah.
wasn't listening, what like that. And I think they were trying to say if he's not listening and not paying attention, then he won't have the job long.
Right,
And it's
right.
true. It's like.
We're all 5 years, I'm
Yeah,
sure,
but
right?
everybody is held responsible to do their job. But so far, I've seen John Curran do the job. He's gone out, he's talked to everybody, he's done what I've asked him to do, he's done what the whole board has asked him to do, and that's all you can ask of somebody.
That's
So
right.
I think he's going to be here for a long time, as long as he continues to listen to the residents of Tewksbury. And like I said,
And without a contract.
Russo's somebody that knows that very well, and I think he would support John Curran. I've seen the two of them interaction, and the two of them get along well. And I think, like I said, I think that was taken out of context. That, like, I think
And going back to-
Rich is going to do what's best for the residents. And right now, I believe that John Curran is best for the residents, and I think Rich would believe so as well.
And Curran works without a contract.
What's that?
Curran works without a contract. No contract. Curran doesn't have a contract.
No, he has a contract for 3 years.
Oh, I thought you didn't get. I
No,
thought
we
you
gave
said-
him a 3-year
Oh,
contract.
I
Yeah,
thought
absolutely.
you.
He had a
I thought
3-year
you were- I thought
contract.
you were against giving him a contract.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
we gave him a 3-year contract, but like there's a probationary period that you go through, and we do an evaluation, and we do all those different things. It's much like any other employee in town. You get a contract, you do it, and you're held to it. It's like, much in the same way, I have a contract. My thing is that
Okay.
I run for reelection, and if I'm not doing what the residents want, then they vote you out.
Dennis Peendick.
Do your job.
Dennis
Just
Peendick.
Try to listen to the
But
residents, do
but
what
you're
you need
not
to
getting,
do.
what is it, 230,000 a year?
You
You're
know
not
what,
getting that though, buddy, you know what I mean?
I get satisfaction that I help my
No,
community. That's good enough for me.
It's Curran getting
I hear
230?
that, but
It's Curran getting, our man is getting 220. My God,
Yeah.
your town's a bigger town. But going back to,
You have to look at what the other cities and towns around you
Exactly.
are paying, and it's just,
Exactly.
and you have to get talent to be able to do it. If you want to grow and you got to bring, like I saw what John did in a lot of different things. I saw Middlesex Turnpike grow. I saw a lot of things. I saw what he did in the city of Woburn. He's been involved for a long time, and you need somebody that knows how to get those type of things done.
Tommy, I got two for you to read here.
now we know why the roads are horrible. All our hard-earned money is going to clean up after drug addicts who don't care. Jay.
Page 2.
These free-range humans create a mess that we, the taxpayers, have to pay to clean up.
That's from DW. And a text just came in. What's Bomil? I want to know what Bomil's drinking. What are you drinking there, Tom?
Coffee.
Okay.
look at the cup he's using though, that's that's one of the best cups.
But my
around.
point is, you're paying them $230.
Yep.
Big community, Tewksbury, but and we're paying our person $220. It's almost like, wow. I mean, that's only 10 grand. I mean, you're talking.
You got to get the, said, it's just, there's, other cities and towns are looking for, talent to bring in help, and it's just, you pay what supply and demand is.
We pay $250
Yeah.
for our city manager.
We
Well,
pay 3.
I know.
Does
I know
Curran get a
he'd say
car?
something.
What's
Curran
that?
get a car? Does Curran get a
He
vehicle?
gets an allowance.
Yeah, that's what our person gets.
Yeah.
And Dennis Peendick, 27 years without a contract. He used to joke his contract was every Tuesday night
Well,
with the
Paul
Selectman.
Cohen, he worked years with no contract,
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
and he stood on his ability to run the town effectively with
Well, the
no
Law
contract.
School Committee
He's got a
won't-
contract now in Chelmsford, but for a couple of years, he had no contract.
Yeah, the Law School Committee ruined that for everybody because they used to fire a superintendent every 6 months. a year.
Is current required to live in the community?
No, you have to live within so many miles
Yeah.
of whatever it is, and like, you have to live whatever it is.
Because I was person.
Well, I mean, you gotta find somebody, it's like I said, it's, you get 30-something thousand people there, and yeah, you could find somebody, but, you gotta get who has, like John has, 30 years of experience.
Oh, no,
doing the
oh, no,
job.
I
You know
just
what I
meant
mean? It's
as
like
you was-
trying to find somebody like that is,
Right.
it's not easy to do.
Right.
You go out and you hire, you get a firm that comes in and brings you in the best candidates, and then you make recommendations, and then our charter calls for, like, have residents committee to sit on that interviewed all the candidates, and then they submit recommendations, and then it comes to us to make the final decision, and to me, it was an easy decision. I thought he was a great candidate, and we were lucky to get him.
And we sit here year after year, hearing John McDonough talk about it's top heavy, it's top heavy. I believe cuts are coming down now. I believe that, even though the federal government probably only spends 20% of our money on schools. They don't send us a whole lot. It's the state that gives us the most. But we're going to have cuts coming up. There's no doubt about it. There's cuts coming. I mean, if you just watch the way everything else is going, what are they doing up top? It's going to flow downhill. And I think Lowell's going to show everybody about the budget this time. We're going to have a good year. We got the right people on the city council watching our dough. They always say, Tom, watchdog. That guy's a watchdog.
Yeah.
There's never, in my lifetime, I've never seen anybody like Eric Gitcher in the city of Lowell. So far, so good.
Well, probably
I
second
don't know
would
how
be
long.
Dick Howe.
No,
Probably he was a
that
watchdog.
listen, he'd complain about unions of this and they're
Oh, yeah.
terrible, and always voted for the contract.
Yeah.
He voted later on. He would come out like he was against unions, and then he'd vote for it.
There's nothing that makes a community a better place when people get involved. And it's just, that's the key. You're just gonna get people to volunteer. There's people that do so much in your cities and towns, that, like the coaches, like I said, all the different things, people that volunteer, people that like give time in the community and just like help. I mean, like our veterans group is always going over, giving, helping people. They do markets, they do things like that. The Lions Club's always doing something like that, Like Rich, it's like Rich is a great guy. It's like I have nothing good to say about Rich Russo, because he's been doing Tewksbury youth football, he's been doing all kinds of stuff in the community, and now he's stepping up and trying to help out and run for this position. I wish him all the luck. And the other candidates as well. It just, the key is, there's only 2 seats and the 4 is running. Whoever wins, get in there and do the job. Whoever doesn't, stay in the community and help out. Like, if I lose, I'm still going to be the Chamber of Commerce. I'm still going to be on the thing. I'm still going to run the Memorial Day Parade. I'm not going away. I'm still going to be volunteering, helping in the community, doing something, what it is. Because it's not about, it's about helping and making your town a better place. And that's the key of like going through. There's all kinds of ways that you can help your city or town. And it's just not being just an elected official. There's all kinds of ways you can do it. And the more people that get involved, the better off your town is.
They
in
shouldn't
Lowell-
be discouraged if they
but
lose.
Tom-
Absolutely.
Tony
Tom-
Anchinsky lost his first race when he ran. Josh Taylor lost his first race. John Zimney lost his first race, and they came back and won.
Tom, when we were off here, you talked about name recognition. You get, in Lowell, you get 75,000 registered voters, and we're lucky to get out 10,000 people.
Yeah.
It's the same people voting all the time. And you know something, when you say names, let's say like Gendron, Finn.
Yeah.
Those names are pretty
Very
popular
popular,
names.
yeah.
And it helps. There's no doubt it helps. Say my name, say my name. I didn't care what they wrote in the Lowell Sun about me for years. Just say my name, one way or another, because people don't pay attention.
It's like that
we
candidate
believe.
in District 4, McDonough. What a good name that is. I mean,
Well, I'm going to tell you right now that McFadden is a
Great
tremendous
show today.
name.
Anyone on the panel bring donuts?
Hey,
No,
for-
we didn't. But below this is Matt Sheehan's post on Facebook today. April Fool's Day. Good one.
I got to go to Drake at 4:30 for my big physical about diabetes, and it's not going to be good.
oh, boy.
They're going to take my meter off me that I have in my pocket. and
Why?
Well, they take it and they put it on a computer.
I thought you meant they're gonna
and
take it
they
away
can
from
tell
you.
how I've been
That's-
doing, and it's not going to be good.
So
They're going
I-
to chastise me again.
So
that's
I'm
all.
running, he's running, he's thinking, what's going on? It's
I'm
like-
not opposed. I'm not opposed. I got a free ride.
So,
And I'll never run for, I've been asked to run for selectman so many times. Nope, no way, no way. Not if I want to stay married. No, I shouldn't say if I want to stay married. I wouldn't want to see my family or kids or wife go through some of the things, as I saw what you've gone through with some of the things they attack you on. Now, you have to be thick-skinned, they say, but it's not right. You know,
I
my
think-
kids, my grandkids shouldn't have to read that stuff. And that's what probably hurts you more, not you. It's your kids having to see this stuff and the negativity. I mean, you know,
it is.
and your girl. I mean, it's awful, you know.
Well, Tommy, it's what sells.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to see, here we have, where's my camera? You guys can sip your coffee. I'm gonna press this button, go like this. Okay, here we have a video of a Boy Scout helping an old woman cross the street. It gets 3 views. Here's the same youth kicking a nun who's laying down on the ground, and it gets 15,000 views. Society has changed. And when you're in the media business, it's all about, like Bobby will explain to you, how many visitors you get to your webpage, how many visitors looked at your video. And so cleavage in video sells, always has.
Yeah, but what
Like I
really-
said, there's a lot of, like I said, we do 9/11 each year, and it's like, it's a lot. We go out and we run the ceremony out there, and John, you've been there.
Yep.
You see a spot of grass when there's somebody not standing on out there, place is jammed. People will come
Exactly,
out
yep.
because there's, you know, Memorial Day, we do the Memorial Day parade. You see a piece of curb that somebody doesn't have their butt on, I mean, you're gonna go up and down that roadway, and people come. So people like the old towns, you know, community, let's get together and support each other. That's the one thing I love about my town, is that, one of the things, but if there's a, God forbid, there's a, some sort of thing that happens of, you know, if there's a tragedy or something happens, and our community rallies around them like you wouldn't believe.
I'll read this text. We need people like Mark and state government who will do for our residents and not themselves. Good point.
I'm focused on the residents of Tewksbury. I'm not politically correct. So I speak the way I feel, and and I don't hold back. I'm just, I keep saying I'm getting older, but I don't think it's growing older. I can't cut through the BS. That's all it is. It's like, do what's right. It's not a hard thing to do. Help people. So you run for office because you say you want to help people. Well, then do it. You know, it's like, do what's best for your community. You got one job and one job only when you get into these things. It's to listen to the people that sent you there. And that's what the job is. You can say, my job is this, my job is that, my job is this, but your number one priority is to listen to the people that sent you there. Do that job and everything will be fine.
It's just all the negativity. I mean, that's what's awful. You see, if you do your job and don't have to attack this
Ignore
or that.
it. Ignore it. It's like, why do you, it drives me crazy. Like somebody said, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see that? And my answer is always the same thing. It's like, I don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm too focused helping the 99% of the population that's looking for me to help them, to do good, to get things better. And if I focus on the 1%, if I give them 5 seconds of my time, I mean, there's always going to be that group out there that has a problem to every solution you have. And no matter what you figure out or how you're going to do it, they're going to find a problem with it. And are you going to sit there and argue with them for days on end where you're never going to come to an agreement? Or are you going to say, well, you know what, I agree to disagree, move on, and then go help the people
Agree
that
to,
you do?
it's my
That's it.
number one saying, agree to disagree.
You know,
I always say
I
that.
think timing plays a big part in an election. I mean, I've been involved in 7 different elections, 3 for city council and 4 for the school committee. I lost 3 for the city council after I only did 1 term on the schools, and I tried to step up, and I lost. And losing can teach you quite a bit too. Losing is good for you now and then. Let me go to this Wednesday. Tomorrow, Linda Bond has Corey Belanger, Hillary Weatherstorm, and Lindsay Dunleavy Tosto.
Yeah, she's running for select board.
She's the one right out. Yeah, Tom?
Well, you know,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow city light.
I'm going to give you an early prediction on citywide races. That's the most important part for me in Lowell, because now we're going to get some change. there's no doubt when I seen the name McFadden, Daniel McFadden, I said, McFadden, I love that name. It goes good with Hoey, I'm telling you. I got a lot of friends that are McFaddens. But on the city side, Sixto Delgado was his last name?
Del Jesus.
Del Jesus.
Sixto Del Jesus.
I'll predict that he's going to be third. He's going to be somebody they better watch out for.
He's on citywide?
Yeah, but
Okay.
the nonprofits are behind him really, really strong. And that helps in the city of Lowell, there's no doubt. So if I was on the citywide city council race, I'd be working hard if I was number 3. Because
I'm going to read this one here because I have a comment about it, okay? We need more of that from politicians. Straight talk, not pandering to the party. That's from DW. Good point, DW, but it's on the media. The media doesn't have the guts to ask a question. When you have the governor shows up in town and nobody says to her while the cameras are running, why are you spending so much money on the people who don't belong in this country? Why are we housing all these people? Nobody asked them any tough questions. The cameras are all on. The media is chicken to ask a question, because if you ask a question they don't like, they're not inviting you back. That's a fact.
You know what helps
I
too?
think you're right,
yeah.
John. I think you're absolutely right. You know, it seems that they're going to be afraid of the politicians. I mean, they're afraid to ask the tough questions. You know what I mean? I think she could be beat next year, but I don't. They'd have to come up with a great candidate.
Ratty Mom, he's a perfect example of a state rep, and he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I would ask him countless times to come on this show. I'm busy. Who the hell's that busy at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, but he also didn't return phone calls. I understand.
So it's
I don't
a
wanna,
thing where
you know, as far
it's-
as the constituent services, you know what I mean? So,
They don't like tough questions. That's
Yeah.
why Golden's never coming here. Doesn't want tough questions. Tommy, why did you herd the homeless to the South Common? There's no answer for it. Ruined my neighborhood. Why did you ruin downtown with the homeless, Tom? I didn't think would have these consequences. What are you going to do to fix it? Crickets.
Yeah.
And I just feel in my lifetime, the mayor and Eric Gitcher, those two alone have done more for the homeless issues than I've seen in 40 years. At least we're moving in the right direction.
This mayor's done a fantastic
Oh,
job.
well, especially for the schools. I'm going to continue to say
Yeah.
that. But for the city council, sometimes I wonder how many he's leading around by their nostrils. That's how I feel. I'm sorry. For the schools, I'm all for Danny, 110%. But on the city council side, I think you have a few councilors that are being
He
let
controls, you mean?
Well, no, I'm just saying, he
Yeah.
controls the meeting, believe me, he controls.
does a great- and he runs that great
He runs a
meeting.
great meeting.
All right, I know you guys are the host, but I got 3 minutes left, so
Go
I'm
ahead,
jumping
buddy.
right in here.
Go ahead, bud. That's what you should do. Go ahead.
Hey,
We didn't talk much about Lowell though today. We didn't talk much about Lowell.
No, but next Saturday's the election. I just want to reach out to the residents and the voters in Tewksbury. If you think I'm doing a good job, please go out and vote. If you think I'm not doing a good job, vote who you think will do a better job. I work hard for the community. There's nothing that I'm not involved in. I put residents first over anything. You know, our town is a wonderful town. I want to see it grow. I want to see remain a town and not turn into a city. So, there's different people running for different reasons. You know my reasons. My reasons is to help the residents. I'm not tied to any party. I'm not tied to any special interest. I'm got one priority and one priority only, and it's to make sure that our town is moving in the right direction and listening to the residents. And so I hope you go out and vote on on 5th, next Saturday. I respectfully ask for you to give me your vote. I'm trying to do the job. I've always tried to make sure I make the town a better place. So please go out and support me the way I've been supporting you. Thank you.
Good luck, Mark.
Thank
We
you.
didn't hear anything from the District 4 council candidate, but today, he didn't talk much.
Who's that?
Is he District 4?
Well, quite bluntly, I want to get somebody who's 20, 30,
But nobody's listening to
or
you, John.
40 years old to run for the office. And we need young people to glean wisdom in city politics. Lowell's a poor city. And the administration manages to power piss through all the federal funds that come through here. hiring his friends.
John, can I interrupt you?
Go ahead.
We have a lot of young people up at City Hall, and sometimes they can use a little bit of wisdom and maybe some mentorship from someone that
Right.
could go in there and then spread that word, and then have somebody following those steps afterwards. But sometimes you need somebody to step up and show them the way. And I
And I
think we
hope-
may have somebody in this room. I don't know.
I hope
Mark, thank you.
I hope Hillary Clark is watching. Hillary,
I
come
keep
on
saying
out.
that, yeah.
Come on out and run for District 4 council,
About 30 seconds.
just to
Hey.
get John McDonough out of there.
Time
Come
is
on.
short, so head up to George's Delicatessen today and celebrate their 60 years in business. God bless them, good people. I want to thank Frank and Lee Cavallo for many, many
Great pizza.
delicious pizzas, and I'm sure that the new owners are going to blossom espressos like it always has. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you
See ya.
guys tomorrow.
Make sure you tell Lisa, that I said hello from Oz tomorrow, that we have that
Thanks,
conversation.
Mark.
Okay, bye.
Have a good day, guys.